Joel, my name's Allison. I'm going to be your health educator today. Dr. Schwartz sent me down that he's been working with you for a few weeks. He had some concerns and wanted me to come down and teach to you. Is that something that would be okay to do today?
Yes.
Okay. So, Dr. Schwartz told me that you've been kind of struggling with hypertension. I don't know if you know what that word means. So it means high blood pressure. Your blood pressure is how your heart kind of works and gets the blood to the rest of the body. So we want it to stay at a certain level, which is 120/80. And Dr. Schwartz says that you are kind of in that pre-hypertensive state. So right now we want to kind of learn how to keep track of our blood pressure so that we can also, one, to manage that, and two, keep track allows us to see where the issues may lie. And then we can teach you ways of preventing having high blood pressure. I understand that you live in the Amish community and that you have your own farm and your wife owns a bakery and your parents live with you guys, so there's pretty high stress on your body. You're working outside a lot. You're probably a little stressed out with the family dynamics also. So all of those things can lead to having a higher blood pressure. And we want to really keep track of that because when you have too high of a blood pressure, it can lead to a stroke. And a stroke could actually paralyze part of your body and you no longer be able to tend to the farm or your family. And so our biggest fear is that happening. So we want to make sure that we can prevent that because high blood pressure is the leading cause of a stroke. So if we can get this under control now, we won't have those worries later. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So the crazy thing with high blood pressure is that 1 in 4 people in the United States has it, and a third of those people do not know they have it because there's not a lot of signs. It's kind of like a fast, it goes, and then the stroke occurs. So it's also known as a silent killer. It can lead to heart attacks and other things. So that's why it's so important to get it under control now. So what I want to teach you how to do, I know we kind of talked to the pastor of your community, and he agreed that he's okay with this machine to work with it so that you're keeping track of your blood pressure to keep your body healthy, and that way you can better tend to the farm. So I'm going to teach you how to use this blood pressure machine. So we have our, it kind of breaks it down for you. So it's going to show you your systolic, which is the top number, and it's going to show you your diastolic, which is the bottom number. And that's where we get that 120/80. It will also show your pulse, which means how many times your heart is beating in a minute. So we can keep track of that too, okay? So what we do is this is called a blood pressure cuff. We'll open it up. We're actually going to slide it onto your arm, just like that. And this right here says artery mark. So we want it right on that major artery here. So we're going to put that there. And I'm going to tighten this cuff up around your arm. Maybe a little uncomfortable, but we want to make sure that we have it exactly how it should be. So we always want this pointing to the artery. We'll stretch that out. We'll turn it on. And then it's really simple. It's just going to do it on its own. So once we've pumped up, we'll take a look at your blood pressure and see where we're at. And then I'm actually going to teach you how to do this yourself so that in a few weeks when I come back, you know how to do it and you've been keeping track of your blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have any questions so far about the machine or anything that I've taught you?
How did I get high blood pressure?
Well, I kind of talked about some of the things, maybe the stress that's been going on in your life. Okay, perfect. Other things may be, you work outside, and that's puts a lot of stress onto the body itself. You also, in your diet, there's a lot of salt in your diet and a lot of fat. That just comes from the culture and, how the Amish prepare their food. So that's not me being rude about your culture at all. I don't want it to come across like that. But those things can lead to high blood pressure. So what we'll do is we'll learn how to take our blood pressure, And then when I come back in a few weeks, I'll actually teach you some things that we can do, and I can teach your wife also some ways that we can cut down some of that fat and salt in the diet, and that would help naturally bring it down also. And then also just learning how to manage stress. I know that, it's not always something we talk about in the Amish community. We don't really talk about that out loud. So finding ways that you personally can handle your stress, maybe through prayer or, time away, kind of taking 15 minutes for yourself a day, those kind of things can also help to lower your blood pressure. So that's a great question to ask because we don't always know how we end up with it. So we'll look into some of those factors in the next few weeks, okay? Okay. So your blood pressure came back as 135/90, which is right in that pre-hypertensive state. We really wanted at that 120/80. So with it being that high, some of the things that I'm going to instruct you to do are to work on kind of cutting some of that stress out, and then we'll cut some of that salt and fat out of the diet, okay? And so how you are going to be able to track your blood pressure every day, I want you to take it every day until I come back. So I made you this little chart. So it has the day of the week, and then you'll write in what your blood pressure was every day. And so you just write those numbers. This number here on the left-hand side over top of the number on the right-hand side will go in this little box here.
Okay.
And then when I come back, I'll get this from you, and we'll kind of look at each day what it was, and then we'll kind of look at some more things that go into that, okay?
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to do this together. So do you remember how I did this?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to open it up. Awesome. Okay. So you're going to slide it onto your arm. Great job. You're doing awesome. Alright, we're going to tighten that up. This is the harder part. There you go. Perfect. So we make sure we want to have that artery right on the mark. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. And then the next thing I need you to do is just hit that start button there, and it's just going to do it for you, okay?
Okay.
You're doing a really great job. Some of the things that I'll want to remind you of is to always make sure that this mark right here with the arrow is always on our artery. And I showed you where that is, right in the middle of the arm. Alright, great. Good job. Do you have any questions so far about taking your blood pressure?
No.
Okay, awesome. So what I want you to do before I head out today is I'm going to have you do this one last time, and I actually want you to do it all by yourself, and I'll just sit here and kind of watch, and then I can give you some tips at the end, okay?
Okay.
Alright, awesome.
Should I always do it on the same arm?
Yeah, that would be best. And we probably want to go ahead and just do it in the mornings and see where you are in the mornings. And then maybe next week when I come in, we can track it where you're at in the evenings also. Okay? Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Now, if you do it in your same arm and say you accidentally messed up or you moved your arm, what I want you to do is wait a few minutes before you pump it up again, because it can give you a false reading if you do it too fast.
Okay.
Alright, awesome. You did a perfect job. You got the arrow right on the artery, and you were still, and you kept breathing normally. So that's everything we want you to do. And then, actually, what I'll have you do is you're going to write down that today is Sunday, and you're going to write down that blood pressure. Great. all make sense to you?
Yes.
Could I answer maybe some questions? Do you have any concerns about your blood pressure or anything that I've taught you?
No.
Okay, and can you just say out loud one more time, what are we going to do when we use the blood pressure cuff?
Gonna undo it, put it on my arm, make sure the arrow is pointing right in the middle where the artery is, and then tighten it up, push the start button, and once it's done, record it.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you so much, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
I'll be back to see you in a few weeks, okay?
Alright.